Hey, it's Michael Rackpo, and you are tuned into the fifth quarter with Rack and Kef. I'm glad to have you guys here at this episode of our show, our channel. If you have not, please follow us on Twitter, fifth quarter, and also please subscribe to our YouTube channels. We're on there as well. All right, now this is the UTSA recap. All right, I wanted to shoot this video. Obviously, as you can see, Kef is not here. He's busy. You know, Kef is the beat writer for the Texas State football team. He has a lot of news and stories and things that he's working on right now. But I wanted to get this out to you guys. It's very, very important that we talk a little bit about the game. And I didn't want to get it out too closer to ULM because I do want to focus on ULM. So I'll give you guys what are my thoughts. I'll give you guys my recap, and then me and Kef can have a chance to kind of, have that dialogue on our later show. So my thoughts on the UTSA game, first and foremost, it's going to be said that we came out flat. And I don't think so. Contrary to popular belief, I think we came out ready to play. Because, if you look at the first series, we was able to get on the field, get our offense going, go down there, and we scored pretty quickly. We came out and went up 7-0. And anytime you have a team that comes out flat, it's a 3-and-out, and their defense gets on and they get scored on. And it's just like, I felt like we had our boys ready to go. I really do. I feel like when they came out to the football field, they was ready to go. We scored on the first possession and we got going. I do think that the energy level after that, it was just kind of, I looked on the sideline and I was kind of surprised. I didn't see enough people kind of, just energetic as we got into later on in the first quarter and we got into the second quarter. I was kind of surprised at that. But I looked at the UTSA side and the energy just was different. I'm not sure if that was a COVID thing or, I didn't go to the SMU game. I watched it on TV. So this was my first game of the year, and I was just surprised at the energy level there by us in the first half. But I cannot say that we came out flat because I absolutely think that we came out and we executed on the first drive and we got up pretty fast. We got up 7-0 pretty fast. Now we did give up 7, and the defense took a while to get rolling, but coming out flat, I disagree with that. I think that we came out ready to play. I just think we just got flat out executed in the first half. Other than that first drive, I believe that UTSA, they out executed us on the offensive side of the ball. I think pretty much the whole game we got beat up on special teams. I was making comments during the game to the person, Sean, I was watching the game with, and I was just like, man, their special teams. I don't know. It was just their kicker and their punter was very good. UTSA, you have a phenomenal special teams unit. Your kicker is probably going to be one of the best in the conference. Your punter is probably going to be one of the best in the conference. So kudos to you guys. You have a terrific, special teams unit there on your football team. Just talking a little bit about the quarterback play. I mentioned this last podcast that we shot when we was doing the preview, and I said that we are going to need to put pressure on the quarterback. I mentioned it. I said we're going to have to find a way to rush 3 and drop 4. We're going to have to find a way to bring in that fourth rusher and get creative with it. And I just don't think we had that level of success in the first half. UTSA quarterbacks, Frank, was just being able to he just was so poised. You could tell I think he's like a 6-year guy, but you could just tell, he was just so poised in the pocket. He was just letting things develop, getting these people the ball. He wasn't getting rattled. And you just have to give credit there. I think that, their play calling was pretty good. The first half, I was a little, I don't know. I was trying to get. Anytime I'm watching a game, I'm trying to grasp the concept of the play calling. Because the first thing everybody can say is, "Oh, that play sucks." Oh, I don't. But sometimes I try to put my mind in the offensive coordinator's mind, which is, Coach Favs. I try to like see what he wanted to do. Okay. Like, okay, well, the box, they were loading the box up, so we couldn't run there, even though I still would have ran in that situation because our run game was working. But okay, they loaded the box up, or okay, or we're going empty because you're trying to spread everybody out, and it's just like in the first half of things, there was just certain, I guess you can call it, tendencies that we were choosing to go with. And I just, as somebody who has some knowledge on the game, I wasn't able to grasp some of the play calling in the first half. Now, I don't know if that's a situation because we didn't have Brady McBride and we had Tyler Vitt. I don't know if that was a situation, but man, there are situations where, we just, I don't know if it was, we just tried to be a little bit too creative or we just wasn't, I just don't know, but sometimes I would just, if you have your back and he's doing well, sometimes you just give him the ball, just give him the ball and let them do what they do, so that I was still trying to grasp that first half, and then obviously, second half, I'm glad that we kind of figured it out. It picked up second half. I was glad to see that. One thing that I love about the football team that we saw was they didn't quit. They didn't quit. I'm like, okay, how are they going to respond to this? Okay, how are they going to respond to that? And Bobcat fans, to be honest, I want you guys to pay attention to how our players and our team and our program responded to adversity. Think about it. I really want you to, now, we're going to talk about the kicking issue later, but just think about it. I mean, we went down, I believe it was 34-17 or 34-14. It was 31. It was 30 something to our two scores that we had at that time. And came out in halftime. And the defense answered in the second half. The offense picked it up. Tyler Vitt, I mean, he made a couple of mistakes, but for the most part, he was letting it rip. I mean, to not be our starter, and I know he was last year, and we get it. But for Tyler Vitt to come out there and do what he did after, not being a starter, after Brady McBride starting the first game, and just being able to fight through and just persevere and just keep going and keep answering and go out and throw a pick and they score and they go up 2 scores. He just kept going. And those are the things that you love to see from your quarterback, especially if it's your starting quarterback or your backup quarterback. It's always next man up mentality. And I love the fact that it showed our football team, it showed us that we have depth to be able to compete, with guys like UTSA, who we on the same playing level field with, If you look at 3 games for UTSA, I don't know what's the first game, it was a touchdown that we lost by. The previous game that we played with them, it was the end zone incident that happened. It was, last drive, we lost to them on the last drive. Then you look at this game and it was a field goal. Anybody that is trying to tell me that it is not a rivalry game deserves to get punched in the face. And I know I'm being dramatic, but for real, I know we haven't won a game. And to be honest, I understand that people can disagree with that. And I know that we have not won and we have not found a way to win. But when you look at 3 full football games, other than one, there was one game, I think it was one game that got us, but when you look at 3 solid football games, it came down to, all 3 football games came down to seconds that could have went either way. It could have went the way of UTSA. It could have went the way of Texas State. We just have to find a way to kind of, just end those games. We got to find a way to finish. We got to find a way. We're finding a way to compete. We're finding a way to fight. We have to find a way to finish. Okay. And that's what, and I love it. I love that our young football team right now, I love that we're figuring it out. We're finding ways to be competitive. We're finding ways to score the football. Play calling has gotten so much better. this looks like a very good football team, even though the wins doesn't show it right now. It looks like a football team that can go into the Sun Belt and compete. I think very well we will be able to compete with ULM this Saturday coming up. I have us winning that football game. I think we're finally going to get over the hump. So, yeah, we have a lot of things to be excited about, guys. I just wanted to officially get on video and just kind of give my final thoughts. All right. But I'm going to talk to you guys about the kicking incident. Now, I wanted to do this podcast specifically also because I received a lot of criticism of my comments that I made. I have zero sympathy for kickers in the context of what happened. Okay. Because if you look back at our kicker, we missed a field goal in the first quarter. We missed a chip shot. It was an easy field goal. We missed that one, right? Had we missed that only field goal, no one would be down the kicker's throat. Kickers miss field goals, right? It happens. We understand. I don't think anybody would be faulting a kicker for one time, all right? But then you look at the second thing that happened, and we missed a extra point kick that we would go up by one, and we possibly more than likely would have won that game. I mean, if you look at the odds for that, they probably would have us at that point a 90% or better in odds to win that game if we went up by one with just those, a minute or whatever it was left on the clock. And we missed the second field goal. Okay, so that's number two. We missed that, and it's an extra point field goal. Then you look at, we still find a way to put ourselves in a great position to still win this ball game, go into overtime, and now we are literally, right there on the right hash of that of the football field right there, and we go down there, and it's a chip shot. It's a very short field goal. I mean, and you're at home, so these are field goals that you kick every single day while the whole team is practicing, right? While the whole team is, hitting each other and ramming each other and the kickers are over here and they're just kicking, and there is a difference between someone who's a kicker and someone who's a offensive lineman or defensive lineman that's out there about to pass out because they're just practicing plays and hitting each other over and over. Come on, and I'm not going to hold my tongue for that. It is a difference. It's a level, the difficulty level. Now, I'm not saying kicking field goals are easy. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, for the people that know how to kick field goals, it requires the same mental toughness as a defensive lineman that knows how not to jump off sides. Kicking an extra point is equivalent to a defensive lineman or an offensive lineman not jumping off sides or not false starting. It's mental toughness, And the kicker is a young kicker. I didn't call the guy out by his name. I didn't call the guy out by his name by any means. But do understand that when you go into those pressure situations and a lot of these, kickers and punters and all these, special teams, you guys know how to get it done. You know how to make the field. I mean, you do it every day, it's a level of mental toughness that you have to have as a football player to be able to make it. So when I tell you I don't have a sympathy for an offensive lineman who cannot jump off sides, a false start with 4th and 2 with the game on the line. Absolutely not. You have to know to be on the right snap count when the game is on the line. Defensive lineman, if there's a defensive lineman in front of me and it's 4th and 3, the game's on the line, 5 yards, that team wins the game. If that defensive lineman goes and jumps off sides, it is absolutely his fault. He should not get coddled. He should not get cradled. He deserves it deserves criticism. Now, are we going to sit on that play for our whole lives? Absolutely not. But at that particular time, when that event happens, it's not the time to coddle that guy and tell him everything is going to be all right. You have to hold him accountable and let him know mental toughness, personal fouls, penalties. Somebody's talking stuff, noise. It takes mental toughness for a player not to go and slap them across the head, throw a football at them. Players are going to be talking all through the game. Should we cradle them if somebody's talking mess and they get a crucial penalty at the end of the game that costs your team the game? Should we cradle them and tell them everything's going to be all right? Absolutely not. You have to have mental toughness, physical restraint to not retaliate when people are talking mess to you in crucial points of the game. This same goes for place kickers. The same goes for same goes for offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, whoever. Okay? Now, I'm going to end at this. All right? In high school, my sophomore year, I was told that I wasn't big enough. I wasn't good enough to play Division I football by a coach on my coaching staff. I wasn't big enough at that time. Okay, I was told that. At that time, I wasn't big enough. Did I believe it? Absolutely not. I made sure I bust my ass in the weight room to get myself bigger. I used that criticism as a chip on my shoulder to get myself into a Division I program. I played as a true freshman when I got on a Division I campus. Fast forward, I went to CSU and I was on campus. I was a starter my sophomore year. Mind you, I was told I wasn't big enough. I played my true freshman year. I was a starter my sophomore year. Okay? Fast forward, Colorado State, adversity strikes. I'm kicked off the football team. Adversity strikes. I'm kicked off the football team. Everybody in the world is turning their screens on and watching ESPN say there's football players that got kicked off of the Colorado State University football team. One of them being one of their main guys, one of the team at that time. I was emerging as one of the early team captains. I had people sending me death threats. I had people calling me a thug. I had people calling me the N-word. I was scum of the earth. I had people that was writing letters on my car and putting them on my car to let them know that I was a useless gangster thug. And I kept those letters. Those letters are at my mother's house till today because I kept them. And you know what I did? I let myself know that this moment is not going to define who I am as a person. It's not going to define who I am as a football player, but most importantly, it's not going to define who I am as a person because I'm bigger than this and I'm better than this. But I will use it to fuel me. I will use it to have that chip on my shoulder so that when I do get an opportunity to then play at Texas State University, I have passion. I play for so much harder because it means a lot to me to be successful. When I face adversity and I blew my ACL, my MCL, my meniscus, and my football career was essentially over. I've never physically been in the same shape since before my injury. Never. I can't even dunk the basketball anymore because of an injury that occurred on the football field. Was I going to sit there and soak about that for the next few years and go into mental depression and stress and just bad physical shape and let myself go and gain 50, 80 pounds and just, live off of what I coulda, shoulda, woulda? Or can I get back up, put my shoes on, and let people know Michael Rakpo, you will continue hearing that name. And if it's not on the football field, it's in the business world. How I built my own businesses to what it is now. Because of my character. Everyone is going to face adversity in life. You're gonna face criticism. I'm gonna say this also. The reason why there's so many kids right now, so many young teens right now that are facing depression, that are stressing, that are losing weight, that are in horrible health conditions. The reason why our youth is headed in the direction that they're headed right now is because from adults, they're continuing to be coddled. And they're always being told that everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be all right. I have it. I got you. It's everything right now. It's coddle society. There's a reason right now that they're giving out participation trophies to people when you're not winning. If you don't come in first, oh, it's okay, just as long as you competed. There is a reason right now. Parents are not allowing their kids to fail and get back up. They are not. When their kid faces adversity, parents will literally pull their kid out of that team and put them on the all-star team. There is a reason right now why transfer rates are the highest that they have ever been in our country, in college football, in sports. Freshmen are transferring out of universities because they have been coddled their whole life by their parents, their coaches, the people around them. They get on campus, they face adversity, and they cannot handle it. And what happens? They transfer, and they realize that adversity may go and happen again at another school. There's a reason that coaches right now, coaches can't coach their players. I used to get coached hard. My coach used to tell me exactly how it is. And he made me who I am today because I can handle scrutiny. I can handle realness when somebody's giving you constructive criticism. I can handle it because my coach gave it to me raw and he gave it to me real. Now, those coaches are the last of a dying breed because now these new generation of athletes, they can't handle when coaches are being too real with them because they've been coddled so long by their friends, their family, and the people around them. Guys, when people make mistakes, let them know that is a mistake. Let them know. Come on, guys. Let them know. It's mental toughness. And their character is going to show by how they respond to adversity. My coach used to say all the time, anybody can be a front runner. When things are going good, when everything is going good around you, anybody can be a front runner. That means that when everything is going good, you good. But the moment adversity strikes, the moment you face some kind of bump in the road that knocks you off from what you're normally used to, your true character is going to show in the which way that you respond to that adversity that has struck. I'm going to leave it at this, guys. I stand on my comments. I stand on what I said. Number one, if the kicker was in the NFL, it would have had a pink slip. That is correct. A kicker job is to make field goals and get them in the uprights. That is correct. I do not have sympathy for people that make mental mistakes. That is correct. Let me be the bad guy in this situation. I'm fine. If I have to tell somebody as is or tell somebody the truth, that's fine. There's people that told me stuff all the time. Some of them were true, some of them wasn't. All criticism is not bad. There's good criticism, there's bad criticism. Your character is always going to show how well you respond to adversity. Guys, I'm so excited. I'm ready to figure out how our team is going to respond to adversity. And I know that we're going to bounce back. All right. And I want to officially tell you guys, I'm rooting for the kid. I know he's a freshman. He's going to learn this. He may go on to be one of the best kickers in the country. He may go on to be one of the best kickers in the conference. We don't know that yet. He may go on to prove a lot of people like, hey, man, I was just a young, dumb freshman at the time. And years from now, he may think back at, man, I remember when I bombed that game. Man, all the criticism that I showed, that I faced at that time, it made me who I am today. That wouldn't be possible if everyone coddled him. Guys, I appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts. All right. I definitely wanted to get on. I wanted to answer this. I wanted to make sure that you guys can see where my head at with it, with this. But first and foremost, I want to, say that I love the way that Texas State football team fought in the second half. I love the way that we came out in overtime and we just fought and fought and fought. We did not get the job done. And I know it is a terrible another loss to a rival. Terrible another loss to a rival. And I know that it's back-to-back losses with such close games. But I can tell you one thing. We are a new and improved football team. We are a new and improved program, and we will get some wins on the column. And I probably would bet that first win will come this Saturday against ULM. Guys, I want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. I want to thank you all. And if you have not already, subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow us on Twitter. It's Michael Rakpo. I'm out.